Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and we have Xur on the EDZ. It is April 22nd, so let's go through his exotics. Also to confirm from the patch on Tuesday, what you see for the stats is what we're going to get. Looks like a couple are good and one isn't great, so let's go through everything. Alright, so the first weapon that we've got is Prometheus Lens, and this is going to be a trace rifle. All the exotic trace rifles seem to be getting a little bit better, so if you don't have them, make sure you pick them up. If you've been playing for a while, you probably do have it, but if you don't have it, it's the only solar exotic trace rifle, so you probably should buy it. Fires a solar trace beam and generates a damaging heat field that grows while the weapon continues to fire. Kills with this weapon return a fraction of the ammo used to the magazine from reserves, extending the beam's duration. For linear fusion rifles, they're going to increase damage in PvE versus enemies by like 20%, I think. And then also the scavenger bricks are going to be giving you more ammo. So hopefully trace rifles are just going to be better overall in general, just for PvE sake. I still don't know if they're ever going to be truly crucial because champions and that type of thing. But generally, if you don't own Prometheus Lens, you should buy it. It's about to probably get a little better too. For the Hunters, a fun one for all of you dodging folks. Every time you dodge, you believe an explosion that does different things based on your subclass. Arc blinds, solar burns, suppresses targets with void, and then stasis will slow. And while the 58 stat is slow, or is low, I should say, can't talk. Mobility being 10, so you got double digits there, and you've also got recovery of 16, got some intellect in there, some strength. I've seen worse distributions on higher stat rolls, so if you don't have this one, you're probably eventually going to want better, but this would at least let you experiment with a decent distribution. For the Titans, very simple. Armamentarium, you get an extra grenade for any subclass or grenade that you're using, and it's got 15 in discipline, not a bad thing. So you don't even have to masterwork that thing, and with a mod you got 20. Decent recovery, and if you masterwork this one, you're going to have 10 in resilience, 10 in mobility. Honestly, it's a 65 stat roll. If you don't have Armamentarium and it's a decent spike in recovery and discipline, buy it. It's actually pretty solid. So close for the Warlocks and the Getaway Artist. Convert your Arc Grenade into a supercharged Arc Soul. The Arc Soul functions as an autonomous turret. Basically, if you've never had Arc Soul, it's a really beneficial thing to use in PvP especially. So if you don't have one of these, it's definitely worth buying if you're going to mess around in trials, do anything. And while it is a high spike in resilience, it's 20 in there. If you got low resilience on basically everything else, this will kind of help you out a little bit. Recovery is low for a Warlock, I'll be honest. It's not even close. It's not even double digits if you masterwork it. But if you put a recovery mod on this as a Warlock, and then you don't have much resilience on any of your other pieces, you'd be okay. If you don't have Getaway Artist, Arc Soul really is that good. It's worth experimenting with. But again, your stat roll may very well be better if you've already got one. All right, for your legendary weapons, there's only really a couple worth shouting out. Ikelos, if you don't have a decent arc SMG, this thing's really solid, and stability is actually about to help you with flinch when we get to Season 17. But when you initially pull the trigger, more stability and accuracy, and as you continuously hold it down, more stability and accuracy. Pair that with Tactical Mag, which is always a really good one. You've got stability, little reload speed, increased magazine size. You can get stability here, some handling on your SMG. I would look at your SMGs because this one is actually very, very good. You start accurate and stable, you continue to be accurate and stable. It's a very good roll on an SMG. Threat detector and Harmony, no. Full auto on anything anymore, can't do it. Underdog already hurts this thing, but we don't have spike, we don't have blinding. It's a wave frame, and if you've never owned this thing, maybe, because it, but I don't even know if I can do it if you've never owned it. It's just not one that you're probably going to use. Now here's Iota Draconis. We learned recently that this is going to get bumped down to about 960 base. You do have a charge time masterwork here, which would make it a little quicker. These already hit really hard. And then you've got high impact reserves, so you deal more damage at the end of the magazine, which if you go into PvP, you always just have 2. And then under pressure, improve stability and accuracy at the bottom of the magazine. So these synergize really well together. You can add range to it, and you can either keep the recoil and handling speed that it's got, or you can boost the range as well. For Iota Draconis, this is actually a decent one to experiment with, and especially with the accuracy, stability, and damage at the end of a magazine, as it already doesn't take that many of these bolts. You might be able to get some long-range kills with this thing in Season 17. Might be worth tucking away in the vault for a few weeks, to be honest. So I honestly would probably buy this one. As for Temptation Sook, Relentless and Vorpal is not a bad roll, to be honest. Vorpal isn't as good on heavies because it is only 10%, but still, this is not a terrible roll if you are just looking for a decent arc sword. Has the caster frame, so it's got the projectile you can throw. I've seen much worse, but again, there's probably better if you're going to really get nitpicky about it. And then Genesis and Vorpal on a sniper, just, I don't think so. For your exotics, you've got Quick Draw on Hawkmoon paired with Textured Grip for improved handling but lower stability. You've got Alloy Mag always, and you've got extra stability with some recoil and decreased handling. So these are basically working against each other, so it's kind of neutral, not really a major benefit with Quick Draw, so I can't say that one's probably worth your effort. We do have a Dead Man's Tale with 4 times the charm. The 2 main ones you're looking for at Dead Man's Tale is either going to be Vorpal or 4th times, because if you get the precision hits, 2 are going to be coming back into your magazine, so it really can extend your magazine, especially if you're going for that bonus damage by chaining precision hits. You've got Fitted Stock for stability, recoil control, a little less handling, not as big of a deal. Flared Magwell for stability and reload speed, and then you've also got handling and stability here. This is one, if you consider 4 times the charm to be more of your PvE option, this is a very viable role to pick up. If you don't have one, it's probably 50-50 depending on your playstyle between 4th times and then Vorpal, but this is one I definitely would consider if you haven't bought one yet and you've got the resources for it. Titan armor is not very good. You've got a 56 and a 55. Those aren't even worth looking at. You've got a 62 with decent resilience, strength, discipline, mobility. The recovery is a bit low. You'd probably have to make up for that somewhere. And while this is a 63 and really high in resilience, if you are building into that type of build, this may be something you are looking for. 2 in recovery, though, does hurt me a little bit because, unfortunately, that's going to hurt your health regen, which is something we all need generally. But resilience is going to start to have a little bit more of a place with now Flinch, and then of course with Void 3.0, we've got Barricades being beneficial. This is a preference if you need something spiky for a build more than anything. For the Warlocks, it's almost worse, honestly. A 58, a 55, a 57, even with the spikes, they're not even 60 worth talking about. And then the 62, for Warlock being low on recovery, this actually does hurt you because you do want high recovery, much less than resilience for a Warlock. So sorry, Warlocks, not any armor for you this week. For the Hunter, there's really only one that's kind of decent. There's a 61 with basically a well-rounded except a little low in the strength category. Again, if you're looking to get started getting some armor, this is not a bad one just to pick up to throw into your Gauntlet slot for a nice well-rounded one. But 58, 58, and 56, I just can't recommend those. So overall, not a bad week for exotics themselves. You got a 65, 64, depending on your build. This is even still a little low, but pretty nice distribution. Couple very good weapons to consider, and that DMT is worth looking at as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like below. Leave a comment if there's something I should have shouted out that maybe I didn't. Check out my video over the massive TWA breeding, the podcast, and then I've got one coming up tomorrow. Scaro9 and I did a little chat, so that's just going to be up on the channel tomorrow just for a little entertainment for you guys. Might be working on trying to solo Grandmaster, so you might find me on Twitch doing that. So find me on Twitter, Twitch at Ebontis. Right here, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. You'll find me, my videos, making it to you a little better. And those of you who are YouTube members or Patreon subscribers, thank you for that extra support. All of you are amazing. I'll see you soon.